Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone, who's on his way to Canada. Yep, it's another best of, but it's probably content you've never heard before. Because we are bringing you something from behind the paywall from the WHW Patreon. We got some stuff from the archives and something fairly recent. We're talking about the fans picking exactly what we watch, and it's always something crazy. Today, we're going to be taking a look at IWA Midsouth. Yeah, the Ian Rotten promotion was made famous by blood and guts, but also had a lot of clinics with guys like CM Punk and Chris Hero going 90 minutes years ago. And really a who's who of professional wrestlers today went through IWA Mid-South. And we've got an 8-man tag that is just a lot of fun. The idea came to us from low-key Big Hog member Doug Ritter of Laverne, Tennessee. You see, the way it works with our low-key Big Hogs and our patrons over at WHW Monday on Patreon is we do 2 pieces of bonus content each and every month. And we don't pick that content, you do. And as I mentioned, Doug Ritter of Laverne, Tennessee picked this match from IWA Mid-South Wrestling. He says, it was a match from IWA Mid-South from 2004 featuring several wrestlers who've appeared in AEW. I was at this show and this match is so much fun. This is a blast on many levels with wrestlers and a referee that you've been seeing on AEW for quite a while. Thanks, Doug. This is a great match to watch. Let's enjoy. We've got Chris Candido, Steve Stone, Nigel McGuinness, and Claudio Castagnoli taking on Danny Daniels, Ace Steel, CM Punk, and Matt Seidel from October 2004. And we want you to watch along with us. Now, thankfully, this match is on YouTube. So just look in the description for today's episode. We'll have that YouTube link right there, and then you'll be able to pop it on and we can have a blast following along as we watch some IWA Mid-South from 20 years ago, before they were stars, of Nigel McGuinness, Claudio Castagnoli, CM Punk, and Matt Seidel. And really, sadly, one of the last times we would see Chris Candido. It's going to be a lot of fun, and stay tuned. We've got Juggalo Championship Wrestling on the other side. But before we do, let me just do a little PSA for all wrestling fans. We need Lumi when we're going to these wrestling shows. Have you heard of Lumi, a whole body deodorant? It's hugely popular. So much so that my wife found out about it, started buying it, told me about it. And now they have Lumi for men. It's the same clinically proven doctor developed formula, but in cologne quality scents for men. Check out these scents. Imagine if deodorant didn't smell like deodorant. That's Mando. And I got to tell you, it's been a game changer for me. We've talked about it a little bit on some of our other podcasts, but I want to tell you, this stuff lasts. I'm such a big believer in this because it works for your whole body. It's not just for your pits. And that's all I had been doing. There's other parts of your area on your body that they could smell a little better. Well, Mando is the go-to. You're going to love the way it smells. You're going to love the way it performs, and you're going to love the longevity. Mando is made with mandelic acid, which is an alpha hydroxy acid that blocks the sweat-eating bacteria on your skin from causing odor. So you don't even smell in the first place, and you can put it anywhere. I'm rocking some Mando right now. And by the way, it lasts forever. Now, of course, I'm being facetious, but I'm saying I did skip a day showering. I mean, listen, we've all done it before. And I didn't feel like I had to take a shower the next day. Now I did, but it didn't feel like I had to. And normally you're like, yeah, it's time. Mando is going to keep me smelling nicer longer. And new customers can get $5 off Mando's best-selling starter pack with our code WHW at shopmando.com. You see, this is for anywhere on your body, your pits, your packages, your cock and nuts, your belly buttons, your butt cracks, your stinky crevices. Maybe you got some stomach folds. Maybe you got stinky feet. Mando can help you with all of that. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was just being misdiagnosed and mistreated. But Mando whole body deodorant is powerful enough for the toughest body odor, but gentle enough to use everywhere, allowing you to put Mando on the family jewels without any worry, because Mando is aluminum free, baking soda free, cruelty free, dye free, and vegan. It's clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. You see, 12 hours after a shower, the average man's grundle odor was a 5 out of 10. But with Mando, the average grundle odor level is 0 out of 10. What are you waiting for? Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Luckily, I've got a special discount to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off that starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code WHW at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Shopmando.com and use the code WHW. And now let's get in our Wayback Machine to 20 years ago. IWA Midsouth, CM Punk, before he was the star he is today, Claudio Castagnoli, and so many more right here on What Happened When.
Our first bonus podcast of 2023, the month of March, by the way, comes from our buddy Doug Ritter out of the state of Tennessee. How's things in the volunteer state there, Doug?
Good as always.
You're not kidding, good as always. And I want to tell you, this match that you selected made us laugh a lot. We looked at it before we looked at it on our podcast here, and wow, what an entertaining match this was. What a choice. Good job.
Yeah, it was one that my brother and I were actually both there in the crowd for it and everything. And then, like I said, we've been friends with Bryce Rensburg for many years. I just kind of gave him a heads up about you guys watching the match too, and his reaction was like, oh, God, pretty much. So, yeah, that's about what we expected with that.
Well, Doug, what I did was I took it and I recorded on my iPhone the portion where he picks up Candido and he slams him. Yeah, and he slams him, and I sent it to him with the caption, "I have no words." So, yeah, this was entertaining. Chris Candido, Steve Stone, Nigel McGuinness, Claudio against CM Punk, Ace Steel, Danny Daniels, and Matt Sydal. Now, where was this recorded? Was this like an armory? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was an armory, I believe, in Jeffersonville, Tennessee, or Indiana.
Jeffersonville, Indiana. Okay.
Yeah, it was part of the IWA Midsouth, their strong style tournament. That was their comedy relief match on that show.
Yeah, very cool. Now, let me ask you this, because I didn't know the answer, and Conrad didn't either. Do they still operate that promotion?
They've been on again, off again, on again, off again. I don't know. I don't think they've done anything yet this year. They try to do like the big Ted Petty Invitational every year, but I don't know if they've done that for the past couple of years.
That is exactly what Conrad said. He said, I think they've been on again, off again for years. So, but this, it's amazing when you go back and you see these guys before they were major stars. And it's really quite entertaining to see, Ace Steel, who I know, and of course CM Punk and Claudio and Matt Sydal, who I wouldn't have recognized had you not said it was Matt Sydal.
Nice short hair and everything.
Yeah, nice young looking baby face, and unfortunately this was less than a year before Chris Candido passed away. But man, it was some great stuff. And as a fan of this, I'm sure you saw a lot of good things from IWA Midsouth.
Yeah, I know my brother and I actually used to run a wrestling promotion, and we did several shows with IWA Midsouth. I know right about this time we had a show where we had Chris Candido defend the NWA Midwest title against Jimmy Jacobs in a great match where Candido got a fan's Justin Liger mask from the crowd and wore it throughout the match, and he did the bare butt spot and everything, and just every time we used Candido, it was a dream come true working with him.
Well, the Chris Candido bear the butt spot is worth the price of admission in this one. Doug, do you promote wrestling anymore?
No, we just go to shows a lot. I still have some friends who are with the work with Scott County Wrestling up in Iowa that do a lot with the Black and Brave Academy with Seth Rollins is from training school.
Okay. Well, buddy, we appreciate you being with us as always, and it was a great selection. So here we go. We're going to watch Claudio Chris Candido, Nigel McGuinness, and Steve Stone against CM Punk, Ace Steel, Danny Daniels, and Matt Sydal. This is from October 22nd of 2004, IWA Mid-South Wrestling. Thanks a lot, Doug. Always great talking to you. We appreciate it, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Welcome to WHW Monday. Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson.
Jim Crockett for Starcade, 605 NWA. TV title, Cajun Omni, the Bunkhouse Stampede. Flair and Horseman, Garvin, Bogey, Magnum, Dusty, Express Tag Teams. Turner, Bond, Mid-South Joint World Championship Wrestling.
Talking about the great years of World Championship Wrestling, the NWA, and Jim Crockett Promotions.
Tony and Friends North, they win. Look, Schiavone's back again. World title split off center stage, Bischoff, Disney, Hogan, and Nitro. New World Order and the Crow. Thunder, Russo, Arquette Champ, Vinnie Mac, simulcast. Tony's back with Conrad, not your classy podcast. Watch along, try not to laugh. Lowest rules can't pass. This wasn't the initial plan. Tom Zigg's a good-looking man. Klondike Bill, make a chair. Tommy, you come over here.
What happened when?
WHW Monday. And now, let's go to the ring. And here's your co-host. Hey, it's Conrad Thompson.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
You ready for some very interesting bonus content?
Buddy, I'm fired up because we have got some really fun choices today. We're going to do.
And one fan, I looked up for our listeners, of course, here on What Happened When, WHW Monday Patreon, you're going to have to, in the link, you're going to have to click the YouTube link. And one of the people watching this said this was the funniest match in IWA Mid-South history.
Well, and listen, I know you're thinking to yourself, what the fuck is IWA Mid-South? But let me just say this.
Okay.
A who's who of professional wrestlers have been through IWA Midsouth.
Apparently so.
MJF, CM Punk, Eddie Kingston, Daniel Bryan, Claudio Castagnoli. I mean, literally Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
Like so many legends have been through there. It is the promotion that Cornette used to go after and call Outlaw Mud Show bullshit. And they would do some hardcore deathmatch stuff and blah, blah, blah. And all that's true. However, man, a lot of great talent went through there, and they really did have some pretty incredible matches. And we're going to be watching a pretty fun one today. And I'm excited because, as you said, you've never seen any of this stuff.
I never have, but apparently this is, are they still in operation?
Well, what day is it? What time is it right now?
It's, well, as we're recording this, it's the 27th of March.
I don't think they are right now, but by the time this airs, they could be back up in business. This is,
That's how they work.
To put it lightly, Ian Rotten, who's the promoter, he has played hokey pokey with the promotion over the years, and he'd run it and shut it down and run it and shut it down and run it and shut it down, and not without controversy. That's not what we're here to do today. We're here to celebrate some of the fun stuff, but yeah, I don't know if they're open right now or not. I don't think they are, but maybe.
Ian's been kind of in trouble with the law too, if I recall.
You know, I don't know all the details. I'll be honest. I'm kind of removed from that scene, but I know once upon a time there were guys complaining about, not being paid. And I think maybe his champion set his title on fire on YouTube last year. I don't know, but
all right. Well,
I think there's been some controversy here and there, but despite all that, this is not an Ian Rotten show. This is to celebrate fun wrestling. And today we've got Chris Candido, who I know we both think, man, what could have been? What an amazing talent.
Right.
Steve Stone, who you may not be familiar with. Nigel McGuinness, another one of those guys where you take a look at what I would call the heyday of the Ring of Honor promotion, and guys like Samoa Joe and CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and Nigel McGuinness were supposed to be like the next great line of champions. And then it just didn't happen for Nigel the same way it did some other folks, but it did happen for Claudio Castagnoli, They're going to be on one side, and they'll be taking on Ace Steel, Danny Daniels, CM Punk, and Matt Sydal. You're familiar with a lot of these folks, and we're going to get to watch them here. And we're going to include the link down below. It's a YouTube match from the IWA Midsouth Wrestling YouTube channel. So join us, won't you? And watch 22 minutes and 39 seconds of some fun wrestling that you've never seen. And in full disclosure, I've seen a lot of IWA Midsouth. I have not seen this match.
Yeah, I've not. I'm very interested to see. I kind of did a little preview of it very quickly, and it's we're talking almost 20 years ago, and it's kind of amazing how guys' look has changed. And in addition, this is less than a year before Chris Candido passes away.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is. So I think I know everybody in here except maybe Steve Stone. And I may know him as another name. I don't know.
Well, let's do it, man.
Right.
I've got it fired up on my YouTube on my side, and I'm ready when you is.
In 3, 2, 1, play.
Here we go.
Folks.
How about Claudio Castagnoli with hair? He is the most money-making man, just so you understand his gimmick at the time.
The most money-making man.
He is Switzerland's own most money-making man. So he is from Switzerland. He is the most money-making man. He fancies himself a fashion plate, as you can tell, maybe not so much.
Right.
But you can tell underneath all that is what's going to be a superstar Superman physique with a Jason Statham haircut one day. We're just not there yet.
Apparently this is at an armory. It looks like to me. And I only say that because I caught a glimpse of a sign that said, you can help and join now too, or something like that. So
is that referee Bryce Remsburg over there? I can't tell for sure.
That is Bryce.
That's Dave Prazak, who's going to be our ring announcer.
Okay.
There's
and
Claudio.
Who's the guy with the that walked in?
How about CM Punk, Danny Daniels, Matt Sydal, Ace Steel? Here they come.
Well, you know what? They're dancing.
Let's listen to the music a little bit. Well, you can tell they're in a good mood to have a good time.
I'm going to be honest with you. I would have never recognized Matt Sydal.
Why not?
I recognize everybody else. You can tell, even though that Punk's got blonde hair, that to CM Punk, obviously. But, and I know Ace Steel, but Matt Sydal, holy smokes.
Bryce Remsburg with hair is the thing that's throwing me off.
Yeah, it's throwing me off as well. Again, there's a manager of sorts around here who walked in. He's with that maroon shirt and those khaki pants on. So I don't know who that is. It's anybody can be a manager day. I can't believe this is so cool.
Humble beginnings.
It is humble beginnings. And you think about it, you and I talk about this a lot. Kids, and they are all kids here, right? 20 years ago.
Yes.
Kids who obviously took a lot of bumps, and I bet you the payoff here wasn't that much.
Oh, you think? Now, what was the first clue? The lighting, the sound, the building, or that there's 13 people here? These folks, and here's the thing, I'm not making fun because I want everybody to understand this is how you learn. This is how you get better.
Yeah.
And by the way, every territory back in the day used to run spot shows, and oftentimes they would be small shows like this. Now in 2004, the business had changed a little bit. DVD business was a thing. Everybody didn't have their own streaming service. The internet wasn't what it is now.
Right.
So they were trying to run a show, sell some tickets, sure, but they made most of their money on DVD sales. So it's the evolution of the wrestling business. But once upon a time, there were small crowds in the territory days too. I mean, heck, there were shows in WCW where there were 200 and 300 people there.
Hey, believe you me, I know what you're talking about.
So I'm saying all that to say, these guys are not here for the payday. They're here for the love of the game. They're here to work with their friends, to spend time with their friends. And most of these guys, I don't think this is a big secret. They had full-time jobs here. So they're paying their bills with what they do Monday through Thursday.
Uh-huh.
And then Friday night, Saturday night, and sometimes Sunday afternoon, they're wrestling somewhere. And they're going to drive forever and ever and ever to get there and make very little money. But they get to work with an absolute legend like Chris Candido, a guy who's at this point a former NWA World Champion, a former WWF Tag Team Champion, and obviously had a hell of a run in ECW as well. So listen, it makes sense. Oh, look at Candido trying to sneak a fork in. Bryce Remsburg, too smart for that, and found it. Wait a minute. They're finding something on that same team. What's going on?
Confidence. Jump rope? What are you going to do with the jump rope?
A jump rope. He is smuggling in a jump rope.
Okay. Well, you can choke a person out with a jump rope. Let's be honest. Okay.
Well, I mean, you think Colonel Parker's ever choked anybody out with his jump rope?
I know. I was thinking of, and Claudio's got a dumbbell. Candido couldn't pick it up.
I can't pick it up. And by the way, it is a 1 pound dumbbell.
Okay.
Maybe a 2 pounder, and Candido's selling it like he can't lift it.
It's like trying to pick up Thor's hammer.
Yes.
This is entertaining. This really is funny.
And the referee just grabs it and picks it right up.
Yeah.
Now Candido's pushing him around. You're not gonna show me up.
Yeah.
I used to have sex with Sonny. You need to calm down.
Boy, did he ever. Is she still in lockup?
I'm not sure where she's at these days.
Mm.
I bet somebody's got what's in Nigel's trunks? Looks like he's got something a little extra.
You mean,
I don't normally do any hog watching, but I'm just thinking he's got like a loaded deal there.
Yeah. There is something, and they're gonna make Bryce check.
Packing something. Well, he has wrestling skill, but no weapons tonight. Ace Steel looks like it's going to be Matt Side down, starting things off. Maybe. Apparently they're telling him to check. Checking.
So there you go. Having a little fun before the match gets started.
Yeah.
22 minutes and 39 seconds is the runtime of the entire spectacle.
Yeah.
We're 6 minutes and 35 seconds in and the bell's just ringing.
Yeah. Right. And they're still jabberjawing, which is good. Ace Steel, who I got to know very well, is, and Chris Candido are going to start things. And at least I hope they're going to start things.
Have you seen Ace Steel wrestle before?
This is the first time I've seen him wrestle.
Let me just tell you, there's a phrase the kids use. He got that dog in him.
Okay. Got that dog in him. All right, let's see. Yeah, you can tell Candido was a little heavy here.
Yeah, and not quite the shape he used to be in, but you know, he's probably off the WWE payroll, so he's off the WWE diet.
Right.
His asshole's hanging out, so he's going to clotheslines with the asshole out.
And he's not trying to pull his trunks.
Not at all. He's going to climb the top rope with the asshole hanging out.
And the fans are digging it too.
Yeah.
You know what? Why the fuck not, right?
Yeah, I think Flair's done that before too.
Yeah, sure he has. But I don't know if he let it stay this long, but why the fuck not?
It's funny.
I mean, you're going to have some fun. And
now, where is there a line? I don't know if you saw over the weekend, but XPW came out. Everybody's giving Candido butt naked slams. All 4 members have now given Candido a butt naked slam. I hope you're watching along with us. You ain't never seen 4 butt naked slams in a row.
Yeah.
Oh, even the referee, Bryce Remsburg, just did a butt naked slam. 5 butt naked slams. Shoving match now between the heel referee and Bryce Remsburg. The referee's going to untuck his shirt. Oh, is he going to bring his own asshole out? Let's see what happens here.
On the card tonight, and just got a sports bra. What the?
He's got a sports bra on.
Yes, he does. Oh my goodness. Once a snap now Punk points it out and he runs away trying to cover up. Great stuff.
Rice Rutherford slamming him. Wonder if anybody got their thumb up his ass. You ever thought about that?
We call that checking the oil here in Alabama.
Checking the oil.
Yeah. We used to do that a lot of times in football in the bottom of a dog pile.
Uh-huh.
I don't check my oil, motherfucker. We never penetrated the pant,
I got you. It's just, yeah, you felt the nub.
Yeah. And you're like, whoa, get out from back there now. That's exit only Jones.
Here's Danny Davis. Is that right? Or no, Danny Daniels? DD?
Yeah, I believe that's Danny Daniels in there now, taking on Nigel McGuinness.
Okay. Nigel went on to have a pretty good announcing career, didn't he?
Yep. I think he's becoming a magician now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
I think he's debuting it this week out in LA.
Wow. A lot going on this week out in LA, right?
Well, some of his teammates, poof, he's made their wrestling career disappear. I don't know. And for my next trick, wait a minute. Middle Finger Jones here, flipping off the whole team. How about that? Silly and fun.
Yeah.
And by the way, I know some people take issue with silly and they say, "Oh, funny don't draw money." I think comedy has a place in wrestling.
Yeah. Well, if the people who say funny don't draw money, the people that say that have they ever drawn money? No. Or are they just on Twitter not doing anything? So how do they know?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they've never drawn money.
I'll tell you this: funny draws money on this podcast.
Doesn't it ever?
I mean,
we have fun.
All we do is talk about dicks and farts.
Well, we talk about
cooters
and snatch.
Oh my God. Me and you've been hanging out too long. We said cooter at the same time. We did a cooter jinx. Where is Dave Silva? We need a cooter jinx t-shirt.
I watched a television show the other day where a girl says something about cooter, and I just fell out. I was like, lady, do you know what the meaning of that word is? I think it was that show that's on Peacock, called Poker Face. Have you seen
it's pretty good, man. I'll be honest. I liked that first episode a lot. I didn't like the others as much, but then there was one other one that was pretty, I think there were like 3 that I thought were like really good shows, really good episodes. Yeah. Oh, look at this. This is fantastic. Candido putting on a show.
Yeah.
Accidentally kicks the stairs, hurts himself. Then he kicks the pole in frustration. Ow, hurts himself again. I wish Candido was with us. Can you imagine how much fun he would be having right now as a producer in AEW?
Yeah, man. Candido's death really, and I didn't know the whole thing about his story, but he always seemed to be a real cool guy. I didn't think he had issues, but there you go. Claudio, man. Claudio looks, he still is jacked, but
yeah, he looks a lot leaner there.
Well, age does that to you, right?
No, but I'm just saying, I think he added a lot more mass. Like he clearly got even deeper into lifting.
Yeah.
And he's in much better. I mean, he looks like a real life action figure now.
Right. Well, I wasn't meaning that age makes you fat. Age just makes changes your body.
Yes. But what has not changed is Matt Sydal is still lean and mean, son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is.
He looks like an Olympic swimmer.
Who, by the way, they say are the greatest athletes in the world.
I don't argue that. I wouldn't argue
Swimmers
that.
Are. This has been very, very entertaining, and we still haven't seen everybody in the ring. And one of the most entertaining things to me, what does Candido do?
So great, dude.
He's wrestling himself in a neutral corner.
Everybody go watch this if you're not watching with us. It's one thing to hear this, but it's another thing to see the silliness with us. You don't get the same effect just listening to this.
No, you don't.
Who'd you say recommended this? They have good taste. It's a deep cut.
Yeah, this was recommended by Doug Ritter.
Oh, shout out to Doug.
Yeah. I was at this show, he says, and this match was so much fun.
It is
So he
fun.
was there. Yeah. So Doug was there. Claudio's so much bigger than everybody. I mean, one of the things that makes Claudio so great is his wingspan. I mean, it's just amazing.
Look at Punk putting Seidel on his shoulder so he can do the test of strength.
Mm-hmm.
It's great stuff. Look at Candido. Nope.
Playing chicken in the pool.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
So listen, if you think these guys are doing this because they're getting a monster payday, you are incorrect.
Right.
They're doing this because they're having fun. They love it. They're getting to spend time with their friends.
Right.
And by the way, when word of this spreads, people will buy the DVD because they won't believe what they heard. Oh, he dropped him bad.
On his fucking noggin, he did.
Hey, I'm sure. I mean, I don't doubt for a second that he didn't mean to do that. Like Candido would never intentionally hurt anybody. My goodness.
No, of course, not only that, I can guarantee you that ring is probably pretty solid.
Look at those turnbuckles. What are your thoughts on those turnbuckles?
Oh my God. Those are like taped with.
They're balls of tape.
That's what they are. It's electrical tape.
How about just when Punk rests his foot on the bottom rope, how much it sags? You can tell this. Y'all don't have Vikingo or Commander running around there today.
By the way, which will go up against each other at Ring of Honor.
This Friday night, I cannot wait. I'm going to be in an airport on my way out there. I wish I could be there live, but I've got it all loaded up on my phone, ready to go. I'm not going to miss that one. I think that's going to be the match that is going to steal the weekend. And I know there's going to be a lot of emotion and some WWE stuff, but you want to talk about the gifs and memes and all that? They will be coming out Friday night like crazy. I think Triple A's been like the best kept secret for a long time, and folks are figuring it out, man. Commander and Vikingo. Woo.
Yeah, he's pretty special. I really like Bryce. Now, you know, there's some people out there who may say that referees like Bryce and like Aubrey, who have a very demonstrative demeanor in the ring, take away from the action because they put a lot of attention on themselves. But I think they're part of it. I really do.
Right.
I well, of course, I personally like them both, but, and they're, you know, they're a different type of referee than like, and of course, I'm only comparing it to the referees that I know, like a Paul Turner, who is not, you know, Stefan Smith is not very, I guess demonstrative is not the word, but Bryce gets really involved in, very expressive. Bryce gets really involved in things, and I really, really enjoy it. Of course, I enjoy him as a guy. And this one will be one of the great things that has happened to me in my career, as you know, which was non-existent for 18 years until you found me. That I didn't get to know these kids at all, and would never have known them unless I came back. I didn't know that Bryce Remsburg refereed in IWA Midsouth, or that Claudio was in it, and Matt Seidel here, who I don't recognize, was in it. Just I'm glad to be able to see this, and glad to be able to know these guys. And listen, because he's coming in the ring right now, I was told that Claudio was the absolute nicest guy ever.
He is.
And he is.
I mean,
he is the nicest guy ever.
No other way to say it.
No, he's
nicest guy.
He's one of the few, I wouldn't say few, but he is more than anyone else, seeks me out every show to ask me how I'm doing. Comes over and talks to me. And he truly wants to know. It's not like, just like, you know, hey, how you doing? Sticks out his hand, talks to me, just a genuine person. And, you know, they say the Swiss are not genuine people.
Who says that?
Oh, just read about it. They're cold people. That's what they say.
I always wonder when I hear that, who the fuck are they? When people say, who are they?
Well, usually it's they on Google.
Fuck they on Google.
Okay.
Don't nobody like they on Google.
Yeah.
They on Google's a bunch of shit.
The Swiss value cleanliness, honesty, hard work, and material possessions. Their motto, unity, yes, uniformity, no. They are very proud of their environment and have a long tradition of freedom. They value sobriety, thrift, tolerance, punctuality, and a sense of responsibility. They wouldn't do well here.
Wow.
Uh,
Strong words.
Sobriety, thrift, tolerance, punctuality, and a sense of responsibility.
Oh, look at Punk going off. A hot tag. Body slams for everybody. Got to be close to a finish here just based on the ticker.
Yeah.
Squaring up. Everybody's doing some punching routines.
Candido was holding on to his ding dong. Punk didn't sell it, but something dropped out.
Oh yeah. It was his cup. So now it comes out that he had a steel cup maybe.
Huh.
Yeah. It's hurt his arm even when he goes for a low blow.
He's telling the guys look over here and he throws it down.
Like you can't hear that. Tumbles out to the floor.
And there it is. Double underhook. Looks like a suplex into a backbreaker. Nope. 2 count. Not over. Still here. All the men are in the ring now. All 8 guys and the referee in the ring. Big amount of powder. Tries to throw at Ace Steel. Horribly misses.
Oh.
They all fell down. Oh, this is going to be a fun spot. I know what this is.
Okay.
Here we go. Describe what we're seeing here.
Okay. He gets powder. He misses everything. Right. And now we got everybody's rowing.
6 guys are rowing and a pin happened right in the middle. And Candido is still getting rowed out. That powder is everywhere.
Oh God. And
it was about 7 pounds of powder.
They're still,
and there he goes doing the hula, doing the JJ Dillon hula. Can't get out of the ropes. Look at this motherfucker. Has anybody ever had more fun in wrestling than Chris Candido?
No. Oh God.
I think Orange Cassidy and Danhausen need to do that spot.
I do too.
You should send this link around and somebody needs to do that on AEW TV.
I wonder if the ropes are loosened up to where you can do that now.
They could loosen them up beforehand and just know, hey, we're keeping it loose for the Candido spot.
Right.
There you go. The world's most money-making man. I think they're going to start dancing.
An 8-man tag here at IWA Midsouth that would even make the Chikara contingent proud.
So there you go. Your first foray into IWA Mid-South. You got to be convinced more than ever that Chris Candido is an all-timer.
He is an all-timer, and what an entertaining 8-man tag. Good God.
Man, look at Ace Steel going.
You know, it's like, here's the deal. It's like, and I think you mentioned this before, when the payoff's not going to be much, you know, why go out there and do some serious shit, right?
Have some fun.
And that little do-si-do going on in the ring. And
that's good stuff, man.
That's silly.
I can't thank you enough today, Mr. Ritter. I don't know what I expected, but boy, you made my day. That was super fun. Greatly appreciate all of your support. Thanks for sending that one in. And I hope we get more like this in the future, Tony, but we're not done. This is one of 2 bonus episodes we're doing. And the next one, it's going to be fun, but fun in a different way. All right. So that's going to wrap us up for talking about IWA Mid-South, but stay tuned. We still got Juggalo Championship Wrestling coming up. Man, how much fun did those guys have? Shaggy, Too Dope, and Violent J really creating their own little wrestling promotion. They used to have those home releases and all the video stores that I used to go to. They were in Hot Topic and FYE and Sam Goody and all that. And it's just crazy to me that these guys were just big wrestling fans like you and me, and they sort of got to run their own wrestling company. Wouldn't that be fun? Well, have you guys heard about this new mobile game called Modern Mania Wrestling GM? It's a pro wrestling general manager game for your phone or tablet. This game really is a hidden gem. They got great looking characters, a slick interface. It's easy to play in short bursts or long sessions. And it's a pretty simple premise. You collect cards for wrestlers, match types, venues, skits, and you use these cards to book wrestling shows. The better shows you book, the more in-game cash you'll earn to collect more cards. Team up the right wrestlers and you'll unlock their tag team card. Match certain wrestlers against each other and you'll unlock their feud card. Manage your roster, create factions, compete with, or control other promotions inside the game universe. It's honestly a lot of fun. It's also free to play, and the developers are constantly updating the game with new characters and features. To get the game, just search for Modern Mania Wrestling GM in the App Store or Google Play Store. Once you've played through the tutorial, head to the settings screen, and on the bottom right, you'll see a code button. That's where you can enter the promo code HEAT. Get a bunch of free wrestlers and game cash. Wrestling fans, do yourself a favor and check this game out. Modern Mania Wrestling GM. I love this game sincerely, and it does make me think of JCW because these guys, man, they got to live it. And this bonus episode we're about to talk about here was a prime example of that. It happened back in 2011, and really it was an event for the ages. It was in Illinois, and JCW brought back an incredible number of stars for a night to honor legends. And although the wrestling was not very good, it's a pretty entertaining night. I enjoyed the respect they showed the legends, and I didn't know what to expect, but I thought they nailed it. And our buddy DJ Turnup from the Atlanta area told us he wanted to watch it because he likes when Tony and Conrad shit on the bad stuff. But it was pretty hard to shit on this. So join us as we give it a watch. We'll see Terry Funk, Roddy Piper, Hall and Nash, X-Pac, Ken Patera, Mick Foley, Bob Backlund, Bob Orton, Dutch Mantel, and others in action. Yeah, they were all working in 2011. And it makes me wonder, man, how much prep went into getting these guys who maybe have been out of the ring for a long time ready for the ring again. One of my first introductions to independent wrestling was at a promotion in rural North Alabama, and they had booked Tracy Smothers. And I'll never forget hearing the stories of some of the guys who were on that show, young independent talent. Tracy Smothers would say, "Hey, shave my back, kid." Those are the type of stories that get passed down through these legends and through these experiences on these independent wrestling shows. And when I think about, "Hey, shave my back, kid," makes me think, hey there, beach babes. Are you ready to soak up the summer vibes and unveil your ultimate beach bod? Well, then you're in luck because our friends at Manscaped have you covered from head to toe. With the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, this ultimate all-in-one grooming kit is set to have you looking and feeling your best in the summer sun. Trust Manscaped and unlock the confidence you need to turn heads this season. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped for 20% off plus free shipping with the code WHW. Let's make this summer your smoothest yet. Embrace your summer bod goals with our all-inclusive Performance Package 5.0. It's perfect for those aiming for that crisp, cool, and confident look. I know I got mine just in time for summer too. That back hair, no longer a problem. Thanks to the updated Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra groin and body hair trimmer. We got a summer makeover, daddy. It's waterproof. It's designed for splashy pool parties and those beach hangouts. You keep your ears and your nose tidy as your hedges next door with the Weed Whacker 2.0 ear and nose hair trimmer. That pesky hair, be gone. And the post-trim care never felt so good as the Crop Soother Ball Aftershave Lotion. Say goodbye to painful chafing and hello to all-day comfort. That's a staple in the Schiavone household. And so is those sunny beach days. You don't want to leave home without Tony's other favorite, the Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant. Yeah, let the sun see you shine, not sweat. Think about that. Anti-chafing ball deodorant. Wow. Our Magic Mat disposable shaving mat's got your back too, and front, and everything else that needs grooming. It's like having a magician in your bathroom. You got to see it for yourself. The Magic Mat disposable shaving mat. You just want to go see that, don't you? I know you do. But wait, there's more. The purchase also comes with free boxers. 2.0. That's right. Midnight Bravo. Comfort and style that fit like a dream. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code WHW at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code WHW at manscaped.com. The summer sun is here to stay, so trust Manscaped to keep your pubes at bay. Seriously, Manscaped has been a day one sponsor of us here on the show. They've been a loyal advertiser. And if you're a loyal listener to this show, I encourage you, just go take a look. As my pal JR says, it costs nothing to look. And they really are helping us bring you this show each and every week. So if you like the show, do me a favor, go check out manscaped.com. Get yourself 20% off and free shipping when you use our code WHW. We want Manscaped to be with us for the long haul, but we need your support. That's good for the show, and it's good for you and your family and that special someone in your life. They're going to love it, and you will too. Try it out, manscaped.com. Use the code WHW. They'll get you 20% off and free shipping. So without further ado, man, what is a juggalo? I don't know, but we're going to find out right here as we take a look at JCW honoring the legends from 2011. Who would have ever guessed Bob Backlund, Ken Patera, and Bob Orton? Wow. Whew. That's hard to imagine. They were all on the same card, but they were, and so much more in 2011. Check it out. A little JCW right from the Patreon archives of WHW Monday. If you haven't already, check it out. We've been doing 2 bonus episodes behind the paywall for years. More content than you can shake a stick at patreon.com/WHW Monday. Without further ado, here we go. Little JCW, thanks to DJ Turnup.
This bonus selection is really out there. And who better to give us a selection that's really out there than our man who's really out there, DJ Turnup. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Tony?
Or should I go, DJ Turnup, woo, or whatever it is?
Either way, I gotta get a drop from Tony Schiavone so I can play it at Southern Honor and amongst other things. Because I actually have it's funny. Shout out to Carly Bravo. I actually have a drop from him because he was one of the wrestlers from Southern Honor, one of the alumni.
Yeah, he's an idiot. No, I like Carly a lot. I give him a lot of shit, and I'm glad he's doing well. I really am.
Yeah, shout out to Carly.
So the listeners that don't know, you're obviously a disc jockey, and you keep very, very busy hours. I know that. That's good. That means you're doing a great job. You do also work for Southern Honor Wrestling. You do the DJing there, right?
Yes, sir. I DJ the pre-shows. Shout out to Gary Lamb.
Yep.
Me and DJ Tonic. Shout out to DJ Tonic. We do the pre-show. And yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, we do that.
Very cool. And that, of course, is up in Canton, Georgia. And we've had a lot of people who have wrestled through Southern Honor come on wrestle in AEW. So there you go. So I know you're a big wrestling fan. I know that. And you came up with, God, how do I explain this to people? It's Juggalo Championship Wrestling Legends.
Oh, come up? Oh, I can honestly tell you, I absolutely did not come up with them. Here's the thing with this, right?
Okay.
So I actually, so I will say this.
Okay.
The greatest bonus podcast that you guys ever did,
right, was
the Alabama Doink versus Heidenreich at I think it was a Golden Corral or something.
Right.
And
yeah,
I tried my hardest to find something as crazy and as bananas as that match, and I recently just discovered this show on YouTube because that's where I've been looking, is just crazy shows or matches on YouTube. Yeah. And I ran across this and I was like, oh man, this is
okay. So there's
so I've actually never watched this show. I have no idea. Yeah, I looked at the matches and I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. So
yeah, who
better to watch it with than my favorite announcer, my favorite commentator, and my favorite podcaster, Conrad Thompson.
Well, there you go. That is a noble reason to want to watch this thing. That's a noble reason. Yeah, it's actually really something. And when I saw this, I went, really? And I was not privy to what it actually was, but here's what it is. It's GCW Legends and Icons. Okay. That's the name of it. JCW Legends.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a totally different brand.
Yeah, Legends and Icons. Okay, so it's Juggalo Championship Wrestling, Legends and Icons. It's from 2011. And just to let you know, I started watching this thing, and I was thinking, what the hell? What are we watching here? And let me tell you why I said this. And this is not a knock on any of the guys who participated in this, but here's who's in it. Ken Patera wrestles Bob freaking Backlund. Okay, in 2011. Okay.
Tony, hold on. I just want to make you feel old real quick. Okay. Where were you in 2011?
I was doing Gwinnett Braves baseball.
I was graduating high school.
Son of a bitch. Okay. I had a feeling you'd say something like that. Anyway, the reason I say that is that, Ken Patera and Bob Backlund in 2011, way removed from their careers. Midnight Express. Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express. Okay. We're talking about Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey against Morton and Gibson. Okay. Coco Beware's in the show. Dutch Mantel is in the show. Austin Idol, Tracy Smothers, Kevin Nash, Mick Foley, Terry Funk, Bob Orton, Roddy Piper. What the flying fuck are we watching? And I'm thinking that this has to be, maybe I'm wrong, but this has to be the final match of maybe some of these guys' career.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And look, like I said, I only chose this because, I just wanted this. I wanted this to top the Alabama Doink in the hide and right. Because this is going to be something. I can't wait to watch it.
We are going to watch it together, and we are going to praise your name as we watch it. Actually, no, Conrad's going to shit all over you, but you know how that goes.
Right. If he shits on me, that means he loves me. So I'm cool with that.
All right. Ronnie Garvin, Tony Atlas, Brutus Beefcake.
Wait, no, you got to say it. Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake.
Yes. Rikishi. Oh my God. This. I mean, really, you talking about Shane Douglas, Al Snow, Sabu, Rhino, Balls Mahoney, Raven, Two Cold Scorpio. You're talking about guys who really had a lot of TV exposure through the years. I mean, these are real well-known names in wrestling, but it's way later.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's 2011.
Yeah.
And this is.
And one of the unique things they did, which I thought and of course I haven't watched the whole thing, but when I'm perusing through it, one of the neat things I thought was the commentators would take the guy who just wrestled and he would sit down with them and do commentary, which I thought was kind of cool. Anyway, we'll watch it together. What's that? Go ahead, buddy.
Oh no, I was just saying it's different. I can appreciate them being different.
All right. Well, DJ, you're different, and we appreciate you for being that way. Okay. Best of luck in all your endeavors, and we always appreciate what you do for us. All right, get ready. It's it's JCW. Why do I mix up G and J? It's J
because you're thinking of Game Changer Wrestling.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Totally different. Yeah, that's totally different.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
My apologies to them. JCW, Legends and Icons from 2011. This was recorded in Cave in Rock, Illinois. That's right, Cave in Rock, Illinois, back in December of 2011. All right, DJ, good talking to you. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you, buddy. And we are clear. We appreciate your time, buddy. Good stuff.
Thanks, Tony. I honestly can't wait to see this. I've never watched this, so this is gonna be fun.
It'll be great. Thanks again, man.
All right, thanks, Tony.
Talk to you soon.
Tony Schiavone and Conrad's on the TV, on your PC, even on your phone. Come on, take a ride down memory lane.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson, and you're listening to What Happened When? With the voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone. Tony, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing great, Conrad. I hope everyone else is. We are going to watch. This is from DJ Turnup.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you listen to the beginning of this podcast, when I was interviewing DJ Turnup about this, when I saw that he wanted to watch this, I thought, oh yeah, that's right. I mean, DJ works for Southern Honor Wrestling. He's the disc jockey there, big into wrestling. We've seen him at a lot of events. He's here in the Metro Atlanta area. And I thought, yeah, a fucking knucklehead like him wants to see this. Well, we find out that he had never seen this, but he knows it's shitty, and he wanted us to watch something shitty.
I love that.
Because he thought the time that we watched outside of the Golden Corral, Alabama Doink or whatever.
Loved that.
He loved that. He thought it was our greatest, that we shit on it. So here we go. This absolute show, and I watched some of this and kind of scrolled through the rest. This show absolutely amazes me. Amazes me for the guys who wrestled on this show who were way past their prime.
Yes.
I don't know how in the world they paid all these legends. How did they do it? I don't know. It's just like, for God's sakes, you got people in, I mean, okay.
So look, we got Kevin Gill, who, KG, he's doing the commentary on the show. He's going to be joined. He's doing play-by-play. Color will be Mick Foley.
Uh-huh.
Dave Penzer is doing ringside introductions. Bill Apter is doing the backstage interviews.
Right.
We started the show with Tito Santana versus Greg the Hammer Valentine.
In a cage.
Then we had a 15-man battle royal with Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Headbanger Mosh, Rugged Ronnie Garvin, Headbanger Thrasher, Carlito, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, Tony Atlas, Big Daddy V, Rob Conway, Zach Gowen, Doink the Clown, Eugene, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Disco Inferno, and Rikishi. And then we had the Rock and Roll Express versus the Midnight Express, Beautiful Bobby and Loverboy Dennis.
Dennis Condrey, absolutely.
And then we had Raven versus Balls Mahoney versus Shane Douglas versus Sabu versus Too Cold Scorpio versus Al Snow versus Rhino. And they can't call it an ECW match, so they call it a 7-man Philly Madness show. And we're going to pick it up from there, and we're going to watch, I can't believe this is real, Bob Backlund versus Ken Patera. Then we'll catch Dutch Mantel versus Coco Beware versus Brickhouse Brown versus Doug Gilbert versus Austin Idol. It's a 5-way Memphis Madness match.
Right.
Then we'll watch Tracy Smothers versus Wildfire Tommy Rich. Then we'll watch the New Age Outlaws wrestle Kevin Nash and X-Pac with Scott Hall in their corner. And then in the main event, Terry Funk versus Roddy Piper with Bob Orton Jr. in his corner. This is an unbelievable card.
It is.
Juggalo Championship Wrestling presents Legends and Icons 2011. It's absolutely free on YouTube. We've got the link in the description, or you can just look up Juggalo Championship Wrestling Live presents Legends and Icons 2011 Gathering of the Juggalos. The show, the entire show, goes about 2.5 hours. We're going to pick it up at 1 hour, 20 minutes and 41 seconds. That's 1 hour, 20 minutes and 41 seconds. You'll see Mick Foley with a bottle of water in his left hand, wearing the cans and the leopard print shirt with a Juggalo shirt underneath, a Hatchet Man. And to his left, Kevin Gill on the headsets. And this is going to be a crazy, wild show. I'm looking forward to this.
I'm blown away by it. I mean, we're talking about 2011, right?
Yeah.
So, and again, I was out of wrestling here, so I didn't know this happened. So let's go ahead and roll it. And I got to ask you some things about.
Okay.
Do you remember the show happening?
No, I wasn't watching wrestling in 2011. And even if I was, I don't know that I would have been paying attention to the Gathering of the Juggalos, wrestling. I probably would have just been watching WWF and or TNA. Thankfully I was watching neither one. 2011 was dark time.
Apparently so.
But yeah, 1 hour, 20 minutes, 41 seconds. You want to do a little countdown here and we'll get going?
Let's go in 3, 2, 1, play.
It's Eddie Sharkey. It's an Eddie Sharkey guy, huh? I think there's always that confusion that he may have been a Vern Gagne guy. That's true. He may have been part of the camp. Yeah, he may. Well, no, I believe you're right. It's Eddie Sharkey, but I just always associate Bob with that great amateur-style wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Princeton, Minnesota, Backlund.
Wow, look at Bob Backlund. Peak of physical condition.
Dude, Bob is in great shape here.
Yeah, he is.
You can just tell when he comes out, like he's ready to go. I somehow have a feeling that that is not going to be the case when we see him.
No, they did something here that I thought was very unique and I liked.
Oh yeah.
That when guys would leave the ring, they would stop by and talk to the announcers.
Okay. I like that.
That's kind of different. Okay. So explain to me, there's a Hulk Hogan guy. Explain to me, Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
It's just, they want to promote shows and they got to name it something. So, they have these big, they have a festival every year called the Gathering of the Juggalos. And so it would be like a Woodstock type deal with different performers on different stages and other events. Like, they're going to have just sort of Juggalo adjacent stuff. So things with Fago and merch and, blah, blah, blah. And obviously all the concerts, but they're big wrestling fans. So they would run a wrestling show and they used to actually do pretty well with it. And they even did a voiceover where the actual Insane Clown Posse, Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope, they pretended to be wrestling announcers and they redid commentary on the IWA King of the Death match with Mick Foley and Terry Funk. They watched the whole show and they renamed them because of course they didn't own the IP, but they were like, yeah, we're just going to show this footage. And of course, technically that meant they made way more on the shit than the guys in the matches did. Now they shouldn't have been doing it. It was bootleg, but it was Japan versus America. They were like, oh, fuck it. Let them sue us. Let them stop us, whatever. Yeah. So they called them Cactus Sack and Terry Fuck. But either way, apparently Mick felt a certain type of way about that. Like, hey, these guys are making money off of me. And I fucking literally burned and had, the blood, sweat, and tears associated with this. So when he ran into him in an airport or something, I guess he confronted him like, hey man, because they were like really excited to meet him because they're big wrestling fans. And he was like, I don't appreciate blah, blah, blah. And according to Mick, and I don't have all the details, but I believe that they broke him off something real proper like. So they were all good again. So good for them.
Okay. You said broke him off some real proper like?
Yeah, they gave him some cash, Tony.
Gotcha.
Enough cash that he shut the fuck up. And he was like, all right, cool, man. Good to see y'all. Yeah. Thanks for all you did. It went from contentious to, okay, you made it right. Thanks.
Yeah. So, Insane Clown Posse is the duo that came up with this whole Juggalo thing. They're in charge of everything, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Shaggy 2 Dope and Violent J. Violent J is a big listener of our podcast.
Well, you know what? He was really a cool guy in WCW.
He's a nice guy.
Yes, he is.
He gets a bad rap, and I understand that, people are critical and.
Oh, I'm sorry. Does he get a bad rap on Twitter? Really? Fuck those people on Twitter.
There you go.
Fuck them. Look at Ken Patera. Gee, many Christmas. The good news about what we're going to watch, and we're going to watch a little bit over an hour stuff, is that no match goes over 6.5 minutes.
Thank God.
Yeah. Ken Patera looks like an aged guy from the Alps getting ready to yodel, doesn't he?
I love you for that.
Okay. And it breaks my heart. I got to meet Ken. I know he's no longer with us. It breaks my heart because in my fandom as a kid,
right,
Ken Patera was right there, man. He had that USA singlet.
Oh yeah.
He had that big blonde bushy hair.
Oh, the afro.
Yeah, the big blonde bushy afro. Man, he was oh, and I got to meet him and I just gushed like a fucking schoolboy that I got to meet him. And so, it kind of pains me to see this, but there it is. I hope he got some money for this.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Yeah. And of course, he is well known for destroying the McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who was with him at that time? Was also involved in that.
Saito, I think.
Yeah, Mr. Saito. I don't know. Apparently, they wanted to get something to eat. McDonald's wouldn't give them anything. And well, it's a famous story from back in the day.
Yeah, it was Masa Saito.
Uh-huh.
You know what? I just realized Masa, was boys with Eric Bischoff.
Uh-huh.
And Ken Patera, of course, a Minnesota guy,
Sure.
like Eric Bischoff.
Right.
What a small world all this is.
Uh-huh.
You know it?
Yep. Yep. As you can tell, Ken can't do much of anything. But just amazing that they found. Now we're talking about 2011. So we're talking about, obviously, you can add 15 years ago. Okay. And Ken Patera's heyday was 70s, late 70s. So think about how long it had been since he was really Ken Patera. And I mean, Ken didn't do a lot of things, but he was really athletic. He was a legit weightlifter in the Olympics. And they had him. I think it's interesting how they just taking a camera shot of the announcers here during the match. But Ken, my memories of Ken Patera was Ken Patera and Baron von Raschke together as a tag team in Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling. It didn't happen for long, but I do remember that. And of course, I'm talking about Ken Patera a lot because it's part of my fandom, but obviously Bob Backlund was a big star too. Isn't it interesting how, I guess when Junior took over the business, that he wanted to, am I right to say he wanted to get rid of Backlund as world champion? Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, Backlund had been champ for quite a while, but he was looking to go more mainstream. He wanted less of the down and dirty, traditional classic wrestling. He wanted more glitz, more sizzle, less steak. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And I guess his father thought that Backlund was the quote unquote next Bruno Sammartino.
Well, he was, in terms of, the longevity and all that, but the world had changed. Like what Vince McMahon, the one that we know, I think he just understood, hey, there's a shelf life on this, but things are changing. People are evolving. And so he wanted to up the production and the and the glitz and the glamour and make it feel more like a comic book and less like whatever we're watching now.
Right.
And by the way, I think he did it kind of respectfully because, I mean, yes, I know the Iron Sheik beat Backlund, but I think they didn't want Hulk to beat Backlund.
Right.
Because there's a chance, hey, what if we're wrong? What if I like it, but they hate it? I don't want to kill the business and kill Backlund in the process. And I want to be respectful and do right by him because he's one of my dad's loyal soldiers, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So, hey, we'll have this nasty heel, this foreign heel beat him, because that's what, and I don't think people talk about this enough, but Kevin Sullivan pointed it out. I actually watched a UFC with him years ago. And whenever you're watching a UFC, they'll do that whole tale of the tape. And so they'll show you, here's how old they are. Here's their record. Here's their height. Here's their weight. Here's their reach. Maybe they'll tell you their trainer, their hometown, all that sort of shit. What their primary discipline or background is, all that sort of stuff. But they would also include their country's flag, because he was trying to show, Dana White was, that this is a global sport.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of Brazilians in early UFC, and now we've seen, Russia and Europe, and I mean, just all over. It's really, really grown. But that was one of the hallmarks of Vince's father's promoting. And I will be honest, that predates my fandom. So I wasn't really in tune with that. Mm-hmm. When I was watching it with Sullivan, he said, boy, they're just borrowing from Vince Sr. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, he had an Italian champion for all the Italians, and he had a Puerto Rican champion for all the Puerto Ricans. Had a Polish. I mean, and I was like, wow, when you really go through it, he really did. I mean, even like the original Hulk Hogan name, he was supposed to be his Irish wrestler. I was fascinated by that because it predates my fandom, and it's like, wow, he's on to something. So leaning into that nationality thing, I'm sure that's when Vince Jr., not really Jr., but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
When Vincent Kennedy McMahon took over, he was like, all right, we'll have our all-American boy lose to this foreign heel, and we'll say he's from Iran. Mm-hmm. He was, but you've got all the controversy surrounding that. And okay, now we need a new American hero. That's going to be Hulk Hogan.
Mm.
The transition and what a risk it was.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Well, you know what? Every time you book something, it's a risk.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, different levels of risk, but you take a risk that, hey, are people going to buy it? Is it good? Is it good going forward? Is it a good story? Should we stop it? I mean, it's just, you may out there as a Twitter idiot be out there, and second guess
twittiot.
A twittiot. Yeah. Very good. Twittiot. And second guess booking. But you ain't the only one. The people that book second guess it as well.
Right.
They do. So, okay. Bob Backlund just beat, Ken Patera, who is slowly making his way down the steps. And Ken Patera's not done. 6.5 minutes of really a bad match, but it was great to see Ken Patera put on the bear hug. Love a freaking bear hug.
Scrooge McSuck recapped this match online.
Who did?
Scrooge McSuck.
Okay. I know he does.
He says, why the hell are these two not a battle royal or not a Royal Rumble match? Bob Backlund is in decent shape for his age, but Ken Patera looks like hell. Yeah. I would much rather see Patera recreate his infamous McDonald's incident. Yeah. Take a look at Patera's layering of attire, a t-shirt, then a singlet, then a pair of fat guy shorts. For a second, I thought it was suspenders, but nope. It's his old school ring attire. Backlund uses a speed advantage to avoid Patera. Write your own joke with that one. Backlund continues to work his goofy style, no doubt thrilling a modern day Dave Meltzer. They lock knuckles with the advantage going to Patera. Backlund escapes, finds himself trapped in a bear hug. I almost expected a Northern Lights suplex. They go 6 minutes and 13 seconds.
Yeah. So who was this again that criticized?
Scrooge McSuck.
Yeah. Scrooge, what the fuck have you ever done in wrestling? That's my question. I'll answer it for you. Not a fucking thing.
I love you.
All right, let's track these two guys.
Yeah, sure. Listen to a little commentary.
Well, if we're gonna shoot, Vic, we can shoot. No, he's crazy in a good way.
Crazy like a fox.
And he wants people to know the president.
He does, and that's about education.
Hey, Bob. Bob, if you don't mind, man, I have to tell you. Bob, here's a mic for you. We've known each other a long time. Amazing how seemingly polar opposite people just bonded. You really seem to take to these people, and they took to you.
This is good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there we go.
Hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you right there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, he's doing it.
Yes, we can.
How about you? Can you hear me?
This is for the people at home, Bob Backlund. This is for the people at home.
This is for you.
Yeah.
You know what? Next time I come here, I'm going to clean up your language.
Whoa.
Hey, Bob, don't exacerbate me.
Wow, Bob Backlund.
Yeah, I told you, he's batshit crazy. Can I say that on TV?
Sure you can.
It's pay-per-view, right?
This is just.
Hey, so a minute ago you said, "Hey, Scrooge McSuck, what have you ever done in wrestling?"
Mm-hmm.
I defended our, maybe sometimes your, but I'm going to round up and say our friend Eric Bischoff.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, as you know, he, like others, has been critical of stuff that's happened in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, when someone was sort of slagging on Eric, I said, I see this sort of criticism for Eric all the time, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, who's better qualified to discuss being a challenger brand for WWE and what worked and what didn't than Eric?
Mm-hmm.
Someone who never did any of it. Watch this clip from Steve Martin's 1992 film Leap of Faith, as I think this character does a better job explaining than I possibly could. And so there were a bunch of comments underneath that, and it created a big discussion and back and forth. But one of the things that happened is people said that I had become a grifter like him. And I said, hey, Paul, Google the word and then come back and tell me who I committed fraud against or swindled out of money. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you know exactly what I mean. And I said, no, I don't. Who did I swindle out of money? And what's that word? That's what that word means. So defend it or delete it, you coward.
Mm-hmm.
And Conan jumped in and said, FYI, Conrad, grifter is one of those cute buzzwords for these wrestling fanboy experts like to use on anyone that is considered an old head, which is being used incorrectly here. Anyways, they are arguing with someone who did something in the biz versus simp fans' opinions. And Steve Freedom says, what has Conrad done for the business other than marry into the Flair family and kiss Tony's ass? If not for that, he would be an overweight real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
And I replied and said, never have I ever been a real estate agent, but I did bring Bruce and Tony back into wrestling, create StarCast, help make All In a destination, announce the kickoff of AEW, do international podcast tours, get a show on WWE Network, and run the second largest independent show of all time before going in the Hall of Fame last year. Doing my best to contribute as my part-time gig. What have you done in wrestling, pal? I'll hang up and listen. And for the record, I didn't marry into her family. She married into mine. Quote, she used to be Ric Flair's daughter, but now she's Conrad Thompson's wife, said Ricky Morton. Have a nice weekend. And it got a little traction. And some of the boys like JBL and Conan and Eric Bischoff and Bully Ray, they had a blast at me just ethering motherfuckers. But it just makes me think of you whenever I see that. It's like, I don't even know a Steve Freedom, but Steve Freedom sure does think he knows a lot about me. He said I'm an overweight real estate agent. I've never sold a house. I mean, I've sold my own personal house, but you know what I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Well, he can just go fuck himself, number one.
Yeah.
And he probably sucks dicks, number two.
Oh, yeah,
okay?
Of course.
Yeah.
I love you.
And so Steve, Freedom, this. The whole thing that blows my mind about that entire discussion you just had, monologue you just had, is that you would even get involved with these fuckers.
Yeah, you're probably right. I should probably just delete it off my phone and just let Lori handle it.
Exactly. And I want to tell you something. If you think I was a great deleter of people, ooh, she knows what she's doing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Hey, we just saw Dutch Mantel come to the ring, and here comes Coco Beware. And I'll admit, I haven't seen Coco in a long time. I'm looking forward to this silly Memphis match. What we're about to watch is Dutch versus Coco versus Brickhouse Brown versus Doug Gilbert versus Austin Idol. I wanted to bring something up. I know that we're on a little Twitter soapbox here.
Yeah.
But Dutch Mantel was telling a story recently on his podcast, and he does a great job on his podcast. I haven't caught all of them, but I've seen some clips on YouTube, and I think they do a terrific job. And you and I both know how smart and what a great storyteller Dutch Mantel is.
One of the best.
So I'm glad that he's finally found a lane to sort of share his opinions and all that, because he's so smart.
Mm-hmm.
But he's trying to talk about the story of the murder of Bruiser Brody down in Puerto Rico.
Yeah. Because he was there.
And he's there. He's in the building. And so he's explaining that when someone came and told him, they said Jose did it. And it wasn't clicking for him that they're saying Invader. And he goes, he said something like, Jose did it, is what he was told. And he responded to that and said, now listen, everybody in Puerto Rico is named Jose. I didn't know they were talking about Invader. And people online, a handful, started to say, oh, look how controversial this is. Can you believe he would say everyone in Puerto Rico is named Jose? We got to cancel Dutch Mantel. Yeah. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? He's saying that Jose in Puerto Rico is a common name, like Joe or Tony or Mike or Billy. Yep. It's a common name in the area. He's not saying everyone. Why does everybody take everything so goddamn literally? He was saying, I didn't associate this guy's shoot name with his gimmick name. Dutch had been going around. Hey, that's Invader. He knows him as Invader. So he didn't know his real name was Jose. And even if he did, how many fucking Jose's are there? Like, he wouldn't have possibly, that's what he was trying to say is, I didn't realize he meant Invader. I'm thinking, okay, well, who the fuck's Jose? But when the response was, well, oh, gotcha. I was like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah, they are, because they're idiots.
That's not worthy of canceling someone over, you fucking idiot. But the idea that we have to be so careful with our words. Okay. He said everybody's name. All right. He didn't mean everybody, but what he meant was Jose's a common name.
Yeah.
Like, how is that lost on? They're just assholes.
Yeah. They're terrible people. And you know what? I blame my generation.
Really?
Yeah. We didn't teach our children. We didn't teach our children better.
Wow. That's some deep shit right there, boy.
Yeah. I blame us. Now, of course, all my kids are millennials and are now in their 30s. Matt's in his 40s. So really, we're talking about the generation after them, probably more than that. But maybe not. You don't know who is behind the fucking name. And that, to me, is one of the reasons that you should just not, as Austin Idol comes out, God bless him. That is why, here is one guy, Austin Idol, that I've known about and never worked with. Isn't that something? I've worked with so many people, but never Austin Idol. Yep. As you can tell, Austin Idol got sneaking in a little watermelon. Here's tights there.
I met him for the first time a few years ago in St. Louis when I did commentary on that NWA show at the Chase. I really just wanted to go to the Chase because I'd heard so much about it. And, one of my great regrets, and I'll admit, I wasn't like knee deep in wrestling fan. I mean, obviously I was when I was younger, but like, not like now, but I wish in hindsight, I would have been able to visit the Omni. I would have been able to visit the Sportatorium. I mean, I missed those, and as silly as it is, I know it's a dump and everybody says it's a piece of shit and blah, blah, blah. I'd like to go to the Cow Palace, but I've hit so many other classic wrestling buildings, all of them in Chicago, all of them in New York.
Right.
I mean, to be at Hammerstein, to be at Madison Square Garden, to be at the ECW Arena.
Right.
I mean, to be at the Asylum in Nashville. These are like legendary, historic. This is where it went down. And I never got to see a show at the Mid-South Coliseum, but I would have loved to. And I hate that I missed some of those because I think it would have been really cool to just walk through the Sportatorium one time.
No doubt. And you're talking about the Sportatorium in Texas, right?
Yeah. World class.
Yeah. There was one in Florida too, where they taped Championship Wrestling from Florida. And that's on Tampa Street or the old Sportatorium, Tampa Avenue. And I went by there one time and I took pictures. I don't think I have those pictures any longer. I don't think that was before I saved everything on Google Photos, but I took pictures of the building that is there now, which is the old building, which they've kind of chopped it up, so to speak, and made like a storefront, apartments, whatever. And you look at it and you go, there's no way there was pro wrestling in that building. No way. But that's one of the buildings that I always wanted to see. Greensboro Coliseum is another one. A lot of people today I've talked to get a big kick out of going by the old Turner Studios. And they say that the Turner Studios that we did World Championship Wrestling in are not the same. In other words, they're smaller. They've redesigned it or whatever. So that's another one. The old Turner Studios, the old mansion, right?
Yep.
Which is still there, but it's not as prominent as it used to be because they put up these big buildings on the side of it. One says Cartoon Network, the other says something else. I don't know. But yeah, the legendary wrestling venues. And I was with you at Madison Square Garden. So.
Well, isn't that wild? Like, on some level, that feels like that was 100 years ago. And then it's also like, well, it was about 2 years ago. And it was more than 5 years ago at this point. And it's crazy to think at that point, you weren't with AEW and you were at the show, but like me, just sitting in the stands.
Yeah. Well, it's really all about exposure. It is. And that's why I realize that when I go to places like WrestleCon, WrestleCade or whatever, and we talked right through this Memphis match, didn't we?
Yeah,
My God.
The winner, as it should be, Austin Idol. He don't do no jobs, Daddy.
Yeah. But it's all about exposure. Today I couldn't really sit in the stands.
Oh no.
Yeah. But back then, some people remembered me, some didn't. It was cool. Got to see Gary Juster, got to go backstage and see Haku. And that's where I got to meet Jay White for the first time. And that was a pretty cool experience. It really was. I like how Austin Idol doesn't want to get out of the ring. We still have a problem today.
Somebody doesn't like getting out of the ring?
Well, it's not like they don't like getting out of the ring. It's they're in the moment, right?
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And
they're just living it up.
Yeah. Or they've been hurt, right? And we've got to move on.
I see.
And
so what you're saying is we got to scrape the carcass up faster.
Yeah. Cause we got another match coming up.
Yeah. So what y'all ought to do is get like a pizza peel. And you could just scrape up Darby Allin right off the street there in NYC.
Yeah.
And then just, throw him in the back and let Doc Sampson come rub some dirt on it.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? You know what? Now that we're thinking about this Darby YouTube series with Super Dave inspired that we just talked about on the other, what if in the middle, like after somebody gets hurt, we have Doc Sampson in the back do his best Mr. Miyagi, and we play that music and he claps and starts rubbing his hands together and we got the dramatic music. And I know Darby just got hit by a bus, but if Doc could just clap and rub on it and then he's good.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
I'm for it too. Listen, I know, and I know how you are. I know we could make some fucked up crazy TV.
Oh, there ain't no doubt.
Ain't no doubt.
Let me and you just turn loose.
Maybe that's my call in life when my deal is done with AEW.
Maybe you need to pitch Tony.
Yeah. No, I'm not pitching anybody. We'll do it our own.
Oh, okay. I'm for it. Fuck it. Let's do it right now.
Right. And let's get those guys who criticized you that we were talking about on Twitter to book for us since they know so fucking much. Let's have them write a script.
I love you.
So this match ended, and what was I talking? So here's what happened now, and I think it's great. If you come to an AEW show live, you'll notice that people are in the ring, and the house lights go dark.
Yes,
and that's I think that's some that WWE used to do that, and I think Mansuri brought that over with us. But that is so cool. It's like another ring, but when the lights go dark, everybody knows to get out of the ring.
Yes.
Yeah. The lights go dark and we'll play something on the big screen or something like that.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. But I get it. I mean, I understand the kids. It's difficult to get out after, if you've had like a 10, let's say 15-minute match and you're selling and you've it's been an angle where you've been attacked. It's not easy to just pop up and jump out of the ring.
Yes.
So I get it. I understand kind of where they're coming from. Okay. So, this girl is nothing like what we saw with Sable in our other bonus podcast.
What does that mean? Nothing like?
Well, I think most girls are nothing like Sable.
Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you that. That's fair.
I mean, she was a 10, right?
Oh, ain't
no doubt. I mean, she just kind of just
in that era, man. Like, she became one of their biggest stars, one of their biggest merch movers. Like, I was always a Sunny guy, still am. I mean, you know what I mean. Like, not real life Tammy Sitch. I'm just saying.
Right.
But anyway, I'm saying all that to say the response she got, the quarter hours, the t-shirt sales, just every bit of it. She became a megastar for Vince fast overnight. And respectfully, it's not because she was cutting great promos or having 5-star Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, Okada matches.
Right.
She was just a very beautiful woman, and so beautiful that people changed the channel to see more of her, and they bought the t-shirt, and like, that is still hard for me to imagine. Like,
look, it's sex appeal.
I get it, but
it sells, and it still does, regardless of what anybody will say. And anybody will say, "Oh, you're sexist. You know, you only look at women as objects." Well, you know what? There's people out there that want to say that you can't call a woman beautiful.
Who says that?
Oh, I've heard that before. They're out of their fucking mind. Guys, we all know that confidence can take you far in life. That's especially true in the bedroom, especially when it's time to step up to the plate. And that's where BlueChew comes in. We've been talking about BlueChew for, since WHW was created. That's because BlueChew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets. And here's the key, at a fraction of the cost. It's very simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. And the best part, it's done online. So no visit to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. BlueChew tablets made right here in the USA and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a discreet package. So if you could benefit from extra confidence when it's time to perform, chew it and do it. Have better sex. We've got a special deal for our listeners as we come to you from the BlueChew studios. Try BlueChew free when you use our promo code WHW at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code WHW to receive your first month for free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank BlueChew, as always, for sponsoring What Happened When. They're beautiful women out there. Okay, so
look at Tommy Rich. Somebody say something about lasagna.
Was that not fun having him at the Top Guy weekend?
Dude, he was so great, so fun, and a real bona fide old school Southern wrestling legend.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really rare to me that I find somebody in my real life who's I'm not going to say an older person. I guess I am. I'm going to say an older person. People who are in their late 40s, 50s, 60s,
right?
Whenever it comes out to them that I'm even loosely associated with wrestling. Like, Tony, I don't think a lot of people in that age group, they understand content creation, YouTube, television, radio, podcast. It all is just sort of like, and they ask this, so you do that wrestling stuff?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, what am I supposed to say to that? Am I supposed to say, no, I'm not a professional wrestler? Duh. Everybody listening to this knows that. But I understand they're just trying to make conversation. They're not trying to, have it go down an ugly road or whatever. And so I'll say, yep. And they're like, I don't watch it. Okay. And you know where I'm going next.
Yeah.
But whatever happened to, but do you remember, and believe it or not, here in North Alabama, it's always Tojo Yamamoto.
Huh.
But I had a branch manager who worked with me in Ohio. Really nice lady. And when so you do that wrestling stuff? Well, kinda, not really. Well, I don't watch. But do you remember Tommy Rich? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, I do. And she goes, he was my boyfriend. And I stopped what I was doing and I said, what'd you say? And she said, well, no, not in real life. But when I was a kid, me and my girlfriends, we all watched wrestling and we'd go to the matches and we were obsessed with Tommy Rich. We used to have fights about when we got older, which one of us was going to marry him.
Wow.
Like we were Tommy Rich diehards. And I'm like, are you serious right now? She's like, oh yeah. So when he came to our top guy, I had him sign her an 8x10 and cut a little video and send it to her. And she couldn't believe, oh my God, you know Tommy Rich? And of all the people, I mean, I got Vince McMahon and Tony Khan and Stone Cold's phone number in my phone right here.
Right.
Doesn't know who any of those people are. Doesn't care. Like, you want to know Hulk Hogan's number or Ric Flair's number? Got it. If she's like, you have Tommy Rich's phone number? And I go, yeah. She goes, can I have it? And I'm like, no, you can't have it. What, why is did you see the video? He doesn't look like Tommy Rich from 1981 anymore. And she's like, he was my dream. And I don't know, but it just, see, cause when I look at Tommy, no Diddy, I'm like, wait a minute. That dude was the draw. He was the matinee idol. That's hard for me to wrap my head around. Like if somebody's like Tom's Inc., I'm like, well, I get that. It's a damn good looking man. But Tommy Rich, what? Okay.
Tommy Rich was a matinee idol in his day.
I believe it.
I mean, in the South, Georgia Championship Wrestling, right? They gave him the world title for like a week. I think he won it in Gainesville and lost it in Augusta or vice versa, something like that. And so, yeah, Tommy was every girl's, boy, they are shooting that woman's rear end. He was every girl's dream back. I mean, Arn Anderson said he's a matinee idol. Would always say that.
Yeah.
And I would say it's idol, not idol.
I love you for that.
Yeah. I just saw on YouTube, I clicked on it, the Ole Anderson turning on Thunderbolt Patterson.
That's great shit, isn't it?
Yeah, World Championship Wrestling. I was holding the microphone. Don't remember it at all, but it was one of the early days of us on TBS.
Yes.
And early days, 85. Of course, we started in April of 85. And listen to Arn talk. It was fucking hilarious. It really popped me with that New York Yankees hat on.
Oh, hey, shout out to Brock Anderson. He and CW Anderson became the tag team champions for AML there in that Mid-Atlantic region over the weekend. I'm glad to see Brock still hanging around and doing wrestling, and really cool to see him tagging with CW Anderson, one of our favorites from ECW way back when.
Yep, absolutely. And once again, Brock Anderson's father is one of the greatest people of all time, and don't connect with him enough. But you know how I am with friends, right?
Oh, sure. I mean, listen, it is what it is. I mean, I feel lucky that you're still able to carve out enough time to do the show every week, because I don't think people really understand the workload and the pressure that you deal with day in, day out. But in addition to that, also running a household with a bunch of Howl at the Moon dogs, there's a lot, and there's travel. I mean, you're on the road for the Wednesday show, on the road for the Saturday show, doing the pickups, doing the office work, doing the commentary, doing the interviews, I mean, it is just one thing after another. I mean, if you started actually keeping a timer on the amount of time you work, it is redonkulous. I mean, it is Bruce Pritchard level, more so, because Bruce is flying on the company jet and he's home every night, and you are not. You're in and out of hotels. I don't know how you do it all, man.
Well, I'm enjoying it. This week we ran Jacksonville twice as we're recording this. We ran Jacksonville on Wednesday. We ran Jacksonville on Saturday.
You love that, didn't you?
Yeah. So I drove up and back to Jacksonville on Wednesday, and Lois was like really pissed off. So what time did you get in? Well, I got in at 4:30. You're going to kill yourself. And then I tried to do it on Saturday. I drove up, drove back. I got about, to Cordele on 75, and I started losing it. So I got a hotel that night. And I was telling Lois, you've never driven with me, but when I start to get tired, I go into another universe.
What does that mean?
Well, let me explain.
Okay.
Jay Black and Chris Schiavone can attest to this because they rode with me one time or a couple of times from a UGA football game. I start talking nonsensical shit. Like one time we were driving back from Clemson. I was just doing a conversation with Jay. And Jay stopped me. He said, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea who you're talking to. You're spouting. Didn't do it in tongues like I was in church or something like a Pentecostal church, but I was just talking shit. And so I'm driving and I'm driving back and I'm saying shit out loud. There's nobody in the car.
Right.
And I knew right then that I had to pull over because I was getting tired. Anyway, that's an inside story but I do a lot. And Lois gets mad at me because I come home and then I immediately go up to the office and start writing scripts, or I'll go up to the office and I'll answer emails about talent relations or something. But it is a very, very busy life, but Jesus, how fortunate am I to still be doing it at this age, at this level? I'm really a lucky guy. I've said it many times. And then I go back and I click on the YouTube thing and I see me holding the microphone for Ole Anderson or Ric Flair or even later Blackjack Mulligan. God almighty. How lucky am I?
Right.
So yeah. So, but yeah, talent relations can take it out of you. We are watching Scott Hall get in the ring. Boy. Oh, he's got the microphone. You want to track
the JWO? Here we go.
Foley.
Hey, yo.
Oh.
For years and years, about whether you see WCW or whether you came to see the. That was a little lame, but I'll give you another chance. But I always wondered if it came down to the two hottest tag teams in the world, how many people came to see DX?
Quite a warm response.
Nice response.
How many people came to see the NWO?
If he's leading the audience there,
sing along with Scott
Hall. Vocal intonation there. I do that with my kids. Like
it's really, really close. But survey says one more for the bad guy.
That's not fair because I can say to my kids, "Hey kids, you want to go to Disney
and
World?
if you ain't down with that,
Afghanistan,
then I got 2 words for you. Whoop whoop.
Whoop whoop indeed, Sean Waltman. Unbelievable to have these 3 men in the ring together once again. It's been quite a time since these 3 have been together.
Now, Sean Waltman and Kevin Nash are both there. They're both veterans of the gathering. Am I right?
Ladies and gentlemen,
and we had a lot of mic work in this one. I mean, you had Kevin Nash, X-Pac, and Scott Hall on one side. Of course, Scott's not wrestling. He's just on the outside, but they're going to be taking on the New Age Outlaws. Isn't it crazy how many old shows we watch just all across this planet, whether it was, something in the WWF or something in AEW or something on the independents here. Billy Gunn was everywhere.
And looked great. Didn't he?
I just don't understand how he's been everywhere and looked the same the entire time. Now I understand people would say, "Oh, well, you can look at his face and see he's gotten older." Yeah, he's not fucking mythical. He's a real human being, but from the neck down, he's the same dude.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
I mean, you've seen every other older wrestler who's been on this show and they did not age like Billy Gunn did. Whatever he's doing is working. And we just got a special guest referee. That was Vampiro who just ran out, or
yeah,
Vampiro. Vampiro. I'll always think of Marvez saying that last week.
Yeah.
I got a lot of great feedback from that, by the way. People were, you know, I don't know that, I guess me and you didn't talk about this, but when y'all were in Huntsville last for AEW, of course, as you know, as soon as his segment's over, Rick wants to go to the bar.
Yeah.
So he went to the hotel bar and he's just wearing my ass out to come over. And I'm like, man, the show's still going on. Like,
yeah,
I can't leave. So, when I do leave early, but not nearly as early as he does. And when I get over there, who is Rick sitting next to? Alex Marvez.
Yeah.
And Alex immediately says, hey, jump in here in the middle. So I sit between them and, just got to catch up with Alex and could see the show that Rick was putting on. It was fun. And, a few minutes later, Alex joined me and the rest of my, slap dick buddies, Mike Dawkins, Cassio Kid, Bart from the Meat Mart. And we're all hanging out. And, when it was all said and done, the next day I heard from Dawkins and from Cassio, and then later from Bart, how cool Marvez was.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw so many comments on Twitter last week. Boy, you and Tony Schiavone did the impossible. You made Alex Marvez cool. And it's like, he was always cool, guys. This is the same guy the whole time. You just saw what he did on TV and you thought, well, that guy's lame. He's supposed to be a lame backstage interviewer. In real life, he's engaging in a human being. Like, do you think he just walks through life like that? Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It was great having Alex on. I have a lot of time for him.
Yeah.
He talks honestly about the business to me, and a lot of the stuff that we talk about, it stays between us. And the great news for me is, and I don't do this much, as you know, but tomorrow night, as we're taping this, tomorrow night in Winnipeg, I'm having dinner with Alex and Don Callis. And I cannot wait, because you talk about a couple of guys that make me laugh. Holy shit. And it is amazing when I first saw Don Callis. I know we've talked about this before, but I'm going to bring it up again. We first saw Don Callis on the ECW show, and I went, who the fuck is that?
Right.
And you said, it's Don Callis. And I started calling him Don Calais.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah. And now that I got to know him, you know, he knows the business, buddy. He's very smart. And Alex is too. So I'm going to have a good time with him. And yes, you know, one thing about Billy Gunn, he's got a side headlock here on X-Pac, or whoever we're calling him at that time. 1, 2, 3 kid or whatever. Billy Gunn, I have so much respect for Billy Gunn. And the reason I do is he doesn't give a fuck backstage. I mean, he is brutally honest with these kids about what he saw in the ring. Be it if a kid comes to Billy Gunn and says, what do you think of my match? Well, get ready, put your seatbelt on, buddy, because he's going to be brutally honest with you. And I respect that so much of Billy. And God, he's one of the guys I just absolutely he just lights up a fucking room. And his kids are like that too. And I don't know if you remember, but when they lost the Trios Championship to the Bang Bang Gang, Billy had Colton down, okay, his head down between his legs. He said, suck it. And we thought, there's a dad with his son
right
between his legs saying, that's a moment I am going to remember for the rest of my life in wrestling.
That only exists in wrestling, by the way.
Only exists in wrestling.
That won't happen in football. You never see that in baseball.
No, you won't. It's like when Ken Griffey was alive and Ken Griffey Jr. was a star. Well, here comes Ken Griffey. His son is on deck. He wants to say something to him. Oh my God, he put his head between his legs and said, oh my God.
I love
you. God.
I love you for that.
Just really shit. Really good shit. And we got this again, it goes back to what we're talking about for the show. This is a megastar event. And again, I know DJ Turnup wants us to shit on something. I think we've done a good job of shitting on people on Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this is not, here's the thing. I appreciate what DJ Turnup wants us to do and shit on folks. I really do. But this to me, is not supposed to be a regular wrestling show. Like, you just want to see the big stars one more time. You know, hey, these guys are in their 40s, 50s, 60s. You're not going to see, and they're not, none of them at this point are wrestling full time. Look how slow Vampiro is to count.
Mm-hmm.
Vampiro, come on, Vampiro.
Mm-hmm.
This is when he's going to take issue, and I bet it's going to set up a finish if I had to guess.
You know what? You are right on again. Although I would like to, I would like to see something else with Alabama Doink in it.
Oh, we can make that happen next month here on the program.
So they wrestled in the Golden Corral parking lot. Did they wrestle anywhere else? Like maybe,
oh yeah, there's lots of Alabama Doink stuff. You don't have to worry about that.
Maybe they wrestled through a Costco or something. Oh, that would be fun. Okay, here comes Kevin Nash. Still looks good. Obviously, you know about Scott Hall. He did not look good here. He was not doing well. And unfortunately, he is gone. I got to talk to him, say hello to him, and a few years back in, I don't know how many years it is now, but a few years back in Albany, New York. And I heard a voice say, "Hey, Count Schiavone." That's what they always call me.
Count Schiavone?
Count Schiavone, yeah.
Why?
Because I look like a vampire, I guess, with my tux on.
Oh, I got you.
Like the Count. I
don't see that.
Yeah, but you know what? It was an endearing. I liked him calling me that. It was an endearing term, whether you saw it or not. Well, Vampiro got involved in this finish. 1, 2, 3, fast count. Wow, how about that? Heel referee. Ain't seen that before. It's something new.
Vampiro. Make sure that Kevin Nash and X-Pac pick up the win. And we have one match left, and it is our main event.
Oh, brother.
The final thoughts from old Scrooge McSuck says, if you were expecting a solid card of in-ring work, then you were mistaken. If you're a sick weirdo like me expecting a Heroes of Wrestling train wreck, wrong again. Yes, the majority of the performers on the show were far removed from their best days. It was obvious at times some of them just can't go anymore. The credit has to go to whoever put the show together. First and most importantly, never were any of the performers ridiculed for their appearances or faded abilities. Everyone was talked about with respect and dignity. Second, none of the matches went long enough to really create a train wreck atmosphere. Pairing people together according to their eras, like Memphis guys and ECW guys and Rock and Rolls and Midnights, was a sensible and successful concept. Sure, they could have trimmed a match or two, but overbooking has never been too much of a complaint, especially to see guys. And I was happy to see them rushed in and rushed out once the bell started, because it wouldn't have taken away the fond memories of being brought back by just simply being there. So I like that they got to not just rush, but hang out. I think that's a good observation, because when you're booking a show for television or pay-per-view, like you were talking about earlier, you got to clear the ring and get to the next thing. Like, it's crash television, but in a show like this, that's not the case. This isn't TV. Take your time, hang out, have some fun.
Yeah. A good observation from a dickhead. It happens at times.
You don't like old Scrooge McSuck?
Oh, you can Scrooge McSuck it.
Okay.
Hey, so this was done according to Cage Match. This show was located at Cave in Rock, Illinois. Cave in Rock, Illinois. Can't believe that's a real place,
right?
But I guess it is Cave in Rock. Where are you? Let's.
Kevin Nash is talking into the mic here with Kevin Gill and Mick Foley. I'm at 2, 12, 30, 31, 32. So we're home stretching it for our main event. It's going to be Terry Funk and Bob Orton in the corner of Roddy Piper. And here's a little spoiler. Bob Orton is going to have the cast on.
Oh.
The WrestleMania, like not WrestleMania and a number. I'm saying the word WrestleMania, the 1985 cast. He's still got in 2011. I love it so much.
Well, they were in the main event, right? He and Roddy Piper?
Yes.
Right.
Well, Bob was on the outside. It was Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful.
Okay.
Against Hulk Hogan and Mr. T.
Right.
This match, by the way, is only going to go 4 minutes and 14 seconds.
Mm-hmm. X-Pac is talking right now.
Everybody's just hanging out, having a good time.
See, I didn't hate this. I really liked, it's unique, right?
Yes.
To have a wrestler come by after he just wrestled and talk.
And just hang out a bit.
So this was very, very unique. You want
to track a little bit here?
And it's awesome to be here together.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Fantastic to be here.
That's right. And you know what I also learned tonight? Bob Backlund is batshit crazy.
He is for real. For a shoot, right? He's out of his fucking mind.
He's out of his mind.
He's got a memory like sharp.
It's unbelievable. But yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Hey, thanks, Sean. Great to see you. Thank you
both.
All
Thank
right.
you, Sean.
Sorry, I wish I feel bad. I feel like I didn't live up to my standards.
No.
Oh, you did, and then some.
You know what I saw? I mean, that to me, that drive is there. The talent's there. You haven't missed a step, and somebody's missing the boat if you don't get another chance on the big stage. All right, I mean it.
I think everything in its time.
All right, man. You deserve it.
Thank you so much.
You got it, man.
Congratulations, Sean. Well done.
Yeah.
Now,
I got to tell you, I really thought that would have happened. It's interesting to me that it didn't happen. That he didn't get another big break in wrestling. Isn't that interesting to you?
Yeah, that's odd because he was really ahead of his time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, the 1, 2, 3 kid was like a sensation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But as I'm looking right now, I realize his last match was Joey Janela's spring break 2022. So that was over 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
That might be it for a bit. I mean, he wrestled twice in 2022, just once in 2019. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in 2018. I guess he's done. I'd like to see him have one last match.
I would too. I have a lot of time for Sean. You know what I liked about that bit that we saw, not a bit, but that on camera that we all saw and tracked, is that it made me feel that, you know what, this is kind of a celebration of these guys' careers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So I don't hate it. I like it. I like what we're seeing here.
I do too.
And you can't shit on it because of the respect you have for these performers, what they have done, what they meant to wrestling in their day. And now the Juggalos are giving them another chance. I have a lot of respect for that. Even old David Penzer, they gave him a chance, huh?
Dave Penzer does a great job, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. Dave was a very, very good ring announcer.
It looks like his last, we're talking about Sean Waltman here. His last match was in TNA, in 2010. So it is crazy to think that he's done with both the WWE and TNA by 2010. I mean, he's been gone for 14 years. That's crazy.
That is. In 2010, was Eric Bischoff in TNA at that time?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, maybe he can address why they didn't use him anymore.
Hey, we're watching something pretty cool here. We got a little mail here at the Conradison. But we see Terry Funk coming to the ring wearing one of those Funk You shirts.
Yep.
And I recently got some mail here at the Conradison. As I mentioned to you before I clicked record, I no longer live in Huntsville. I now live in Guntersville, Alabama, about 35 minutes from here. I graduated high school. Yeah. And, my wife has a couple businesses over there and I can work from anywhere. So we bought a house a few years ago, took our time remodeling it. It's there. We're ready. We're in it. But I'm still for a few more days using this studio, but obviously when you're packing and you're moving, you wind up going through things that you haven't seen in a while. And one of those was a package I got that I knew what it was, but I didn't open it and I just set it aside. Cause I was like, oh, I'm going to have to do something with that. I'll do that later. And then I never did. But I got a little handwritten note here, Tony.
Okay.
Conrad, as you can probably tell, I never washed the shirt. I was afraid if I did, it would unravel and fall apart. Literally for years, it smelled like Ben Gay or some other muscle cream and probably still does. If it has any kind of sentimental value for Mick, I'm happy for him to have it. It's a small trade for the years of entertainment, particularly the podcast. If he's not a trophy kind of guy, but someone else wants it, make him throw a few bucks towards a charity in the Funker's name. It's a gift for Mick. Jabroni's got to pay. Thanks, Seth V. So I got to get this to Mick. But look what he sent, dude.
God, man.
It's a ring used funk you shirt with blood on it.
Oh Lord.
And
of course, cut at the midsection, which is how he wore his shirts.
how he wore it. It's exactly the way he wore it. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll get that framed and get it to Mick. And of course, Mick's not going to be listening on our Patreon podcast, so I don't mind sharing with you guys. But I'm going to get that framed and get it to Mick because, as you know, we just lost Terry last year, and and Mick is not sentimental about that sort of stuff. I mean, he doesn't hang on to all of his own stuff a ton. I mean, he usually lets it go for charity. Mm-hmm. But I know that Terry Funk was one of his wrestling heroes, so let's celebrate that for Mick. So I'm going to get that framed up and get it to Mick.
We ought to, before you get it framed up, we ought to take a picture of it and send it to Eddie Kingston.
Oh yeah.
Because buddy,
that's his guy.
I'm so glad. Yeah. I'm so glad Eddie Kingston's coming to my life. God, when people ask me, who's your favorite wrestler of all time? I'm going to say Eddie Kingston.
Wow.
And I'm not saying the greatest performer of all time, I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying my favorite guy to work with backstage is Eddie Kingston. We got so many great people. We got such a great staff at AEW. The Bucks are just wonderful kids. How can you get any better attitude and a person than Adam Copeland? You can't.
Right.
You can't find one. And more professional. So, but Eddie Kingston's my favorite of all time. Okay, now Funk's got the microphone here. Roddy's in the ring. Bob Orton with the cast is in the ring. Do you want to see if we can try? Well, he threw the microphone to the referee. At least that's where I am. Where are you?
I see the referee sort of standing between Piper and Backlund. Piper's got the mic. Let's track it.
Yeah.
I heard that pitiful music you had, Desperado. Let me tell you about your family. You're funked, your brother was funked, your father was funked, and I funked your mother.
What?
You think you're a tough guy? You think you're...
Wait a minute.
I don't care for here the council.
Oh my God. Terry Funk just losing control of himself here.
Piper's going to work with that microphone. Both of them just laying the boots in on Terry Funk here.
Oh my God, just whipping Terry Funk. Why is Cowboy Bob Orton in the ring? Whipping him like a government mule.
He's supposed to be outside the ring. Piper doing the damage outside while Cowboy Ace Orton stands in.
Very unorthodox. No way Terry Funk could have prepared for this. Terry Funk being whipped out of this arena, being choked now on that barricade.
So what do you think of what we're watching here? I kind of dig it. Like, I know what we're watching. It's not
right.
I like this. I don't think this is nearly, what the Legends of Wrestling or the Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view was.
Yeah, this is, I like this too. And boy, did that line by your father was a funk.
Yeah, and I funked your mother. Hilarious.
Roddy Piper, brother. One of the greatest stickman of all time.
Hey, I see your Peloton still hanging out in the background. How often do you use your Peloton these days?
Yeah, twice a month, maybe.
Do you think that was just everybody went crazy for him during the pandemic, and then we just kind of went back to life?
Yeah, but you know what's funny about it is that when I get on it, I love it.
Yeah.
And I get off and I'm thinking, man, I've done something good. And the next day I'll do it again. And the next day I'll do it again. Then all of a sudden I've got a meeting, or I've got to do some emails, or I've got to write some copy, and it's midnight and I go, I can't do it. And then I get back off of it. But yeah, you guys still have one?
Yeah, we've got the treadmill and the bike. Yep. And believe it or not, Megan's actually now got a stair climber.
Oh, wow. That's good stuff.
The first ever home stair climber. She's pretty excited about that. She's setting that up at the new joint.
Good. I have to ask you something about the new joint.
Yeah.
Did you get permission from the geese to finally settle?
We don't have a geese issue anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You think you don't?
No, we don't. We don't.
Look, if they're flying by in a fucking flock and they look down and they want to fucking land on your front stoop,
I'll play whack-a-mole with those motherfuckers.
No. They'll land there. And I tell you, if you walk outside, you better bring help.
Look who's coming to make the save. It was a double team. Bob Orton and Roddy Piper were beating up on poor Terry Funk. And here comes right off color commentary, Mick Foley in the ring now. You want to talk about sending fans home happy? How big time is this?
Yeah. That's always important. Send them home happy. Bob Orton going to work on Mick, man.
I love watching the legends of professional wrestling, even if they don't perform like the legends anymore. That's no surprise, I guess. I am the guy who did Ric Flair's last match, but it's like what has existed in music for a long time. Those reunion tours or the last tour, the retirement tour, those sort of things. Like, I think we're all chasing that nostalgia.
Yeah.
You know, a buddy of mine calls it chasing the dragon. He said, man, I just fell in love with ECW and it was such a big part of my fandom. And I've been chasing the dragon ever since. Like, he wants to feel about pro wrestling the way he did way back then. And I really reminisce with that or identify with that. I connect with that. Like, that's the way I feel about it. And I think that's why we're doing all these podcasts that we're doing. And we've enjoyed so much success is because we're all sort of chasing the dragon.
Yeah, that's very well said. And Terry Funk's going to bleed, isn't he? Doesn't matter what it is. Roll him up. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Referee takes a bump. They're just rolling around on the mat.
And
now.
Funk's going after the ref, and the ref's like, let me get the fuck out of here. I'm not supposed to be here. Well, that's it, man. Believe it or not, Orton covered Funk for the 3 at 4 minutes and 14 seconds. So there you go. What a star-studded card. What a pick. This was not something that was on my radar or your radar. I can't believe we missed it. It happened in Rock, Illinois. It was an online pay-per-view, August 12th, 2011. And, your pal, Scrooge McSuck, said, I really dislike ICP and their mutant followers. But I just sat through Halloween Havoc 99 and honestly, nothing can ever be worse than that crap.
Thank you, Scrooge. Thank you. We appreciate your commentary. Now go back under your fucking rock.
And thank you guys for supporting us here for so long on WHW Patreon. We greatly appreciate all the support. It means a lot to Tony and his family and my family. And it's been such a fun ride. And right now we're closing down the month of April, but May is right around the corner. And that means you got a couple more pieces of bonus episode coming your way. But right now, Tony, it looks like it's about that time.
Ladies and gentlemen and boys and girls, we thank you for being with us as always here on Patreon. Tell your friends, maybe pretty soon I'll get back in the saddle here and do a little Q&A. We'll find out if I can work it into my schedule. But for Conrad Thompson in Gunnersville, not yet. And for all the geeks that are going to bite him in the ass very, very soon, I'm Tony Schiavone. We are desperately out of time. See you next time on
Patreon, patreon.com/WHW Monday. All right. As we're wrapping things up here, I want to thank all of you guys for checking us out. I want to encourage you, if you haven't already, go check us out on YouTube. It's WHWmonday.com. That's WHWmonday.com. I want you to hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications bell, and we're going to be going live later this month. But we really want your suggestions. So click on the community tab and take a look at what we've been posting over there. We're going to be doing some polls. We're going to be soliciting some questions from you. We really want your feedback. What topics would you like for us to cover? What shows would you like for us to watch? Is there a special guest you'd like to have us run in? Well, we want to hear from you in the comment section. So check it out. WHWMonday.com. It's totally free. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications bell. And by the way, don't miss Tony tonight. He's in Canada tonight and in Canada this weekend. I can't believe that's a real thing. But yeah, our man is back on the road and he is having a blast, and you can see him every Wednesday, every Saturday, but go out and see him in person. AEWTIX.com. If you mention that you're a member of our WHW Patreon, he might go out of his way to come say hello. I've heard of stranger things happening, and it's one thing to attend a show and watch a show. It's another to have an experience. And that's what we're looking to do, is over deliver. So if you've been on the fence, I want you to take another look at patreon.com/WHW Monday, and be sure to go see Tony. He's making more of these personal appearances now, hitting some Comic Cons and stuff every now and again. But as you might imagine, he's loaded up every Wednesday and Saturday. AEW is a big priority, and we're so happy that Tony is back in wrestling. Who would have ever thought when we first started doing this years ago, this is where we would be? See Tony in person, AEWTIX.com, and we'll be back next week with a brand new show on What Happened When? The voice of your childhood, Tony Schiavone.
Double J, Jeff Jarrett, here with a few of my pals to tell you about the total nonstop savings happening over at SaveWithConrad.com.
Jason Eblin, and I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. Just looking to find a way to eliminate some debt, and been listening to the podcast for years and always heard the advertisements and thought I'd give it a shot, and best decision I made in a long time. Worked with Larry and Francis and Amber. It's been nothing but pleasant experience. I've been listening to the podcast for years, and at that time never needed it, but this past year, just with things that's happened in life and debt piling up, this is a great opportunity to see what you all have to offer. And like I said, it's been great. Able to breathe again, to be able to save that much and be able to eliminate debt and be able to enjoy life and not have that worry. So I cannot thank you all enough. My name is Jason Eblin, and I save $1,500 a month with Save with Conrad.
In my world, it doesn't get any better than 5 stars. Find out how much money Conrad and his team can save you by strutting over to SaveWithConrad.com. So right now, strut on over to SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 32416, equal housing lender, SaveWithConrad.com.